All right, so let's go ahead and get back to some Qi2 goodness. Look, man, I know your boy's been crazy inconsistent when it came to YouTube, man. Work has been working, life has been life, and your boy's been sick for a week. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit, but let's go ahead and get into some more MagSafe battery packs. You know we're waiting right now in that iPhone 17 time, so we're not really talking about that many cases, but we are still gonna talk about some of these chargers because I got some dope ones in, and we got some more dope ones on the way. But you know, recently we reviewed this Anker. All right, this is the battery pack that everybody's been waiting for. The Slim Anker 5K Qi2. You know I love me some good Anker goodness when it comes to these battery packs, man. But everybody in my comment section was like, T, you might want to check out the Baseus, the Picogo, man. This is the best small MagSafe charger out there on the market. So I said, you know what? Wait a minute, man. I'm gonna need to check that out and see if those claims is true because the Anker, you know, is the king supreme when it comes to it. But this one, I have to say, has a few more advantages over the Anker, and the best battle for the best small MagSafe battery pack is really live and well. So let's go ahead and talk about it, man. Now, I did go out there and buy this myself on Amazon. These are available on Amazon. Of course, they come in tons of different colors. I just chose to get this. I think this is basically like a silver or a gray. So yeah, this runs you about 42 bucks on Amazon, man, but there's always some type of little 20% code or something like that you can redeem when you actually go down and look on Amazon. You already know, man, links down below. But this is going to be the Baseus Picogo, all right, 5,000 milliamp hours Qi2 technology. So you already know you're going to be getting those 50 watts of charging when you're talking about popping it on the phone via wireless. Now I know somebody like, T, what is that small phone right there, man? This is my little size chick that I pulled up out the cut, man. This is gonna be a 16 Pro as we wait for that 17 Pro Max or Pro, whatever I decide to get. All right, the 17, I already sold my 16 Pro Max. We rocking with the 16 Pro. I'll tell you what I'm doing with this a little bit later on. But of course, it's going to be 15 watts when you're talking about charging it via MagSafe. Now, when you're talking about all the features that this bad boy has, as you can see, it says Baseus, but one thing that this has that the Anker doesn't have is a built-in kickstand. And this was something that I didn't think I was really going to use when I got it, but you never know. When you're popping it on the kickstand, when you're charging it, getting a little bit of extra juice, and if you're watching a little bit of content, although I don't recommend watching content and wireless charging at the same exact time, but it does come in handy when you're talking about popping it on, pull the little kickstand out. And this is a very nice, sturdy kickstand. It's not too flimsy. I mean, I'm not telling you to shake this or just knock your phone over, but it is going to be able to handle this phone just fine when you're talking about holding it up, whether it's in that landscape or whether it's in your vertical landscape, it's going to hold you down and be just fine. And as you can see, it even activated that standby mode as you flip it over. So that's going to be a nice little feature. If you need a kickstand, that is going to be there. Of course, on the bottom, you're going to get your power button. And as you press that, you're going to get little LED lights, as you can see on the bottom, that of course is going to indicate how much charge you have left. And just looking at the size comparison between the two, of course, the Anker is going to be thinner, but this thing is definitely smaller in profile when you compare the two. So less pocket space, even though it is thicker, it is a little bit smaller in size. So I don't know whether you want thinner or just smaller in size. I feel like both is a little bit of a trade-off, but it's not that bad in my opinion. Now, both of these, I'm not going to make this a direct comparison, but both of these, when you're talking about wired charging, all right, when you're talking about grabbing your actual cord over here and plugging it in the actual phone, you are going to be getting that 20 watts of charging speeds. Now, you guys know that's kind of my ideal way to charge it. I love battery packs to where you can just plug a cord in there. Wireless is cool during different times, all right? Now, we do got that wireless Qi2 2.2. I think that's what it's called. I got some chargers coming for that, and that's going to change the game with 25 watts, all right? 25 watts wireless charging when it comes to an iPhone 16 or greater. But for right now, with the standard Qi2, we're just going to be rocking with that 15 watts. But when you plug it in like this is going to offer you 20 watts. All right. Now, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of performance. Well, before we start talking about performance, let's talk about some of the things that this bad boy right here has. Now, it says it weighs 0.3 pounds. Let me go ahead and pull the scale out over here and let's see how much this bad boy really weighs. And let's see. It's okay. Hello. All right. Let's get to it. All right. Let's okay, it doesn't have pounds. All right. This is like a food scale, so it doesn't have pounds. But let's just drop it down real quick and look at how many grams it weighs. It's looking at 135 grams. All right. Now just compare this to the Anker and what it has going on. The Anker, of course, is going to be a little bit lighter, sitting at 121 grams. So just like I stated, a little lighter, A little bit bigger, a little heavier, a little bit smaller when we are talking about size. So not that heavy. This still is very pocketable, very small in frame when you're looking at it. I mean, compare this to the 16 Pro, you can see kind of how small what you're working with. Of course, this is made out of aluminum alloy, and this does have NTC smart temperature control. Just like most of these battery packs out here, man, it's going to make sure it monitors the temperatures so it doesn't get too hot. And I actually did a test when I was charging via MagSafe, popping my little Blackstone griddle infrared beam and actually, you know, testing out different areas of it, and the max peak it got was 100 degrees. Now, that's very similar to what I got on this Anker, where some of these temperatures were kind of raging up there as well, but as long as you're not getting to that 104, 105 degrees, I think you'll be good. And I know Anker guarantees not to get over 104. So this, at its peak charging, when my phone was low, when it was using its full power, it did not get over 100 degrees. So that's good to know when we're talking about temperature control. Now, here is the thing that it's a plus and a minus when it comes to the performance of this battery pack. Now, when we're talking about wireless, all right, now I use about 2 different test measures. Of course, these numbers are going to differ, whether it's your cell, you know, your connectivity, whether you're messing with the phone while it's charging. I try my best when I do these tests to not touch my phone. So I put this bad boy on my phone via Wi-Fi when it was sitting at 18%, not via Wi-Fi, via wireless. And it got my phone from 18% to 57% before this battery pack was completely dead. Now, normally, my battery packs can give me a little bit more. I can't remember what my Anker numbers were, but I feel like it gave me a little bit more. If not, they were very similar. This may give me about 5% more, but the big difference came when we are talking about wired charging. That's the thing that kind of blew me away. So I slapped this bad boy in wired charging, and I actually put it here. All right, pop this on when this was full. My phone was sitting at 20%. This thing charged my battery from 20% all the way to 87%. Now that is very impressive when we are talking about a 5,000 milliamp hour battery and still containing those very low temperatures. Definitely gets more performance than I can get out of my Anker 5K Qi2 that is also rated at 20 watts of speed. Now, of course, they're going to differ when it comes to technology and different brands. All your ranges are going to differ, but I'm going to tell you what, this is probably the best that I've got plugged in when it comes to a 5,000 milliamp hour battery pack. Now, am I saying it's the best battery pack out there alive? I'm not going to say that, but it damn sure is a good solid battery pack for the price of getting this at 42 bucks. And you can kind of get deals here and there when you're talking about Amazon. This is going to run you about 50 bucks or plus, maybe 55. I can't remember on Amazon what this is, but I know this is going to be cheaper. And I feel this will give you better performance when you're talking about being wired. Sure, the Anker may give you better performance when you're talking about being wireless, but I feel like the difference was not that great. I feel like it was within 10%. And in my opinion, it's not a big deal when we're talking about charging it wireless. But I love this little battery pack, man. Nice silicone on the front side of it, I mean on the inside of it where your magnets are. So it's not going to damage your phone when you're talking about slapping it on a case or something like a frosted or a clear case. It's not going to wear that finish down. And of course, the one big advantage that this has over it is it does have that kickstand. Now, I know like the OG 622 from Anker, this has a kickstand. I saw somebody in the comments was just like, yo, where is the kickstand version of this Qi2 5K MagSafe? And I get it, but I'm gonna tell you what, man, both of these are amazing battery packs. They really are, but I really love the kickstand feature of this. I love the way how small in stature it is, and you really can get it for a better price than you can get the Anker. Both of these are amazing options. If you're tied in the Anker ecosystem, I get it. You can go out there and get you an Anker tried and true. I've used a few Baseus products in the past, and guess what? They've been rock solid. I have never had an issue with them, and I absolutely love this little Baseus Picogo. The fact this is a little bit smaller gives me a little bit more power in the wired state. That's how I tend to like to carry my battery packs with wires if I can, because I can get the most juice and performance out of the actual battery pack, man. So this is going to be the Baseus Picogo 5K Qi2 MagSafe Battery Pack, man. They're on Amazon. Hit the link down below. Check them out. They're on sale at the time of this video. I really like this battery pack. So if you're looking for a small, compact battery pack, just to give you that extra little bit of juice, and you don't need something like a big 10,000, 20,000 milliamp hour battery pack, this is going to be the perfect solution for you right here. But if you say, T, look, man, I just love my Anker products, and I want to check this little slim Anker you got going on right here. If you want to check the video out for this, man, I love this bad boy as well. This is another great option when you talk about a MagSafe battery pack. I'll be sure to leave that video review right here.